Today we will be doing rural urban differences. This is the second last subtopic of your second chapter. Please keep reading the texts, okay? It will be important for your unit test. So the first line is majority of India's population lives in the villages. So a large number of people of India, they still live in the villages. According to 2011 census, 68.8% people live in the rural areas and 31.2% live in the urban areas. So remember that important numbers. That is 68.8% of people in India are still living in the villages and 31.2% live in towns and cities. According to table number 5, please follow the tables. Urban population is increasing faster than the rural population. There is a growth of population in the urban areas rapidly in comparison to the growth of population in the villages. Modern development and industrial urban way of life dominates and declines the significance of the agrarian rural way of life. So people living in the villages, they are more fond of the city life. They would like to live and work in the cities rather than living in their villages. So the way of life in the cities, the standard of living in the cities, all of this, it creates a desire among the people of the villages. And that is why the lifestyle of the urban areas, it dominates. Okay, it dominates the way of life of the villages. Agriculture was the largest contributor to the country's GDP. So GDP is gross domestic product. It is like a value of all the activities, economic activities, production of goods and services that takes place in a country. So agriculture was the largest contributor to the country's GDP. Okay. So agriculture produced a large number of production and lot of profit. But today, agriculture contributes only 1/6 of the gross domestic product. So the value that was created by agriculture has come down. Majority of India's population lives in the rural areas and earn their living through agriculture, but what they produce has fallen drastically. Although the population in the rural area in India is more than that in the urban area, and people still earn their living, they still meet their ends, okay, through agriculture. Their basic and primary occupation is agriculture, but still the quality and the quantity of what they used to produce or what they produce now is different. So now the quality and the quantity of their production has fallen, it has declined. A large number of rural dwellers are engaged in non-farm activities such as transport services, business, craft manufacturing, etc. So these people living in the villages, they are not only engaged in agriculture but also in activities apart from agriculture in order to earn money, like they are engaged in transport services, business, craft manufacturing. Okay, they all the local crafts they make, and they do business and all of that instead of agriculture. People living in the rural areas are now aware of the urban lifestyle through widespread mass media and communication channels. So mass media, it is a great mediator of all these new lifestyles and all the new way of living. So mass media and communication channels, it transmits information to the people of the rural areas. Now we see all the rural people, and even people in the rural areas, they are always active on social media. They use social media, okay. Even if they do not know how to study, there are people using all these social media applications, and this is because they are following the urban lifestyle. Okay, they dress, although it may not be very much urban, but want they wear all these urban lifestyle dresses. The way of life of the towns and cities are creating new desires and aspiration among the rural dwellers. Like I told earlier, mass media, it spreads, okay, it transmits information and all these images which exposes the urban way of life to the people living in the rural areas. And these people, they desire to have such a way of life, to live in such an environment. So mass transit and mass communication are shrinking the gap between the rural and the urban areas. So mass transit is people from the rural areas are moving to the urban areas in large number, and there is mass communication. Okay, so there is media channels which brings about all the information and images about the urban lifestyle. So the gap between the rural and the urban areas which was there earlier, like people had to walk thousands of miles or to reach their villages, all of these are shrinking. Development is also taking place in the rural areas, and that is a positive thing, right? So the urban way of life attracts the people of the rural areas. That is why urban population is increasing faster than the rural population. Although rural population is more, but urban population is increasing faster.